Hey people in YouTube land, Zach Hall back here. Today I'm going to bring a Bible review to you from Church Bible Publishers. This is their Turquoise edition, and I'm going to be doing a comparison against probably its arch nemesis, the Long Primer. Now, obviously, I want you guys to take in mind here, the price differences are going to be drastic because of the materials that these Bibles are made out of. What I really want you guys to take away is really the font comparison to see which one you like the best, because you can get the Turquoise from Cambridge University Press and a very nice goat skin with very nice paper and all the works, etc. So really what this is going to be is a full review of the Church Bible Publishers Turquoise, which is a very great Bible for the price, and then a comparison between the Long Primer font and the Turquoise font. So that way you guys can see which one you like, because I know these two are really popular. They're large print King James Bibles. That's a big hit on my channel, is the large print King James, and I know why. They're easy to read. People are getting older, but also large prints are just fun to read. They make Bible reading enjoyable. I mean, I'm 27, and I really prefer, I read out of large prints most of the time, just because it's easier on my eyes. I don't have bad eyes, but I don't have to strain to read them. I can easily do my devotions. I do most of my sermon prep out of large print Bibles because it's easier to just read the text quickly. So there's a lot of benefits to getting a large print King James. So jumping right into this though, we have a nice iron calfskin cover. And one of my friends I've been talking to on YouTube, his YouTube channel, his name is Noah the Flower or something like that. Anyways, check out his channel if you haven't seen. He has a lot of good short reviews he does, and then some long ones as well. But he likes to see if this thing can bend. I'm going to show you. This thing can bend pretty good, okay? And the iron calfskin is very nice. He also talks about that. Iron calfskin is underrated in the Bible world. It is. It's always soft. Look at that beautiful river grain you get in this. Very long grains in this Bible. So it's very, very well done. You get nice gold gilding. Church Bible Publishers really does have some of the best gold gild work out there. It is beautiful. You get 2 ribbon markers. You get raised spine hubs, perimeter stitching, a tooled line. So this Bible is, I always, people talk about how Church Bible Publishers aren't premium. I think they are. I mean, they are a premium Bible. They're not, sure, they're not an Allan and stuff like that, but they definitely are on the premium side. Now, the only thing about this is they switched to this polyurethane liner. So you can see it's this clear, plasticky substance that it kind of makes it flexible. So Cambridge uses this too in their Cambridge Concord, which I think I actually have over here. Give me 1 second. So you can see they use the same thing. So if you guys are thinking, oh, this isn't premium, Cambridge also uses this polyurethane material in their flagship Bible. So Church Bible Publishers switched to this for this edition. I don't know if that's going to be a good or bad thing. I've had friends who have said, oh, they break down a lot easier. At any rate, Church Bible Publishers says you should get about 10 to 15 years out of these Bibles with some pretty good use to them. It is edge lined, so you can see the cover does come up into there, and they glue these pages together. It does leave a stiff hinge, so you can see that thing really wants to fight you at first. You have the presentation pages that Church Bible Publishers have had for a while. So it's got these nice flowers on there. Essentially, they're the older Cambridge presentation. And then Death is in black. So you get a nice title page. I bought this as an imperfect, so if you saw that video, if you want to get a good deal on a Church Bible Publisher Bible, go to their imperfect section, guys. They have Thompson chains and turquoises out the wazoo on that page, and you can normally save at least 20 bucks off of the sticker price. And mine was, it was something with the gilding. It said thin gilding, but you can see on mine, there's really, for me, there's no problem. I don't have it. It came to me, essentially it looked brand new. There was no defects. But they said there was, so they took $20 off of it. This does retail for $106. I got it for $86. So again, if you're looking for the turquoise, just check that out. You might be able to find a good deal where they say it's defective, but it really isn't. So you get the epistle dedicatory, the translators to the reader. It's in a bolder, dark font. You do have a semi-wide margin around the text. And that is really the big difference between the Cambridge and the Church Bible Publishers Turquoise, is you get a lot more margin space in the Church Bible Publishers one. So if you're someone who likes to put in references or notes or symbols in the margin, you may want to go with the Church Bible Publishers, because the Cambridge, they do this and they're pretty famous for it. They have pretty small margins. As you can see, that page is not quite exact, but it's pretty close. So you don't have as much margin space in the gutter, and you definitely don't have enough space out here in the side. Now, if you write small, you still can fit stuff out there, but not as much. I mean, you've got about almost a 3/4 of an inch, half-inch margin out here. Now, the reason why people love this Bible is because of this nice, dark, beautiful, bold font that is an 11 to 12 point font with leading. The spacing is absolutely amazing for an older typeset. The Turquoise was set in the 1920s, and yet you can see how well spaced apart it is. And the Church Bible Publishers has a lot of times where it accidentally line matches, but that is not on purpose. You do get a center column reference that is tagged together with letters in the text. So essentially it's almost like the cameo. You do get your book and chapter at the top, a running page header at the top as well. And then your page number is actually down at the bottom center. And then so you do get a margin here in the center column, or in the gutter. You get a center column reference. And also the Turquoise is known for these right here. So you get this kind of this parenthetical or these parentheses, these blocks with the chapter number next to it. So when you're reading through, say, 2 Samuel, now you, oops, sorry, kind of lost it. 2 Samuel, your chapter 3 is the 270th chapter of the Bible. So it's kind of cool when you're reading through to know what chapter you're in. So here's Nehemiah. It is the 420th chapter of the Bible. Now you can see as far as laying flat, let's go back to Genesis here. Again, that hinge is really hard. But this is another reason, a practical reason, why every Bible should include the translators to the reader and the epistle dedicatory. Not only are they great documents to read, but it adds a lot of paper at the beginning to give it enough weight to hold that tab down, so that when you get to Genesis, and this Bible here is made for preaching, it is made for reading, it is made for teaching out of, you don't want your Bible shutting on you, okay? You can see the cover does a good job, but that tab here is just wanting to fight against everything to close. But that epistle dedicatory and the translators to the reader is holding it down, so that way you can get this text and there's no problem. It's beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful read. Now you can see as we get into the Bible, that margin space I was talking to you about, you've got good margin on the bottom, at the top, the side, and you get enough in the gutter to where it brings the text out on the flat part of the page, so it's easy to read. Now, I think if you really got this thing broken in and you used it a lot every day, you probably eventually be able to write in that inner margin. I just haven't broken this in quite enough to get that nice and flat. But there's a look at that. So now we'll compare this to the long primer, just real quick, and then we'll go through some of the other features of the Turquoise. So here's the long primer font, more of a modern font. It's a I believe close to a Times New Roman font or a Roman font, but you can kind of see the Turquoise is darker. It's a little bit thicker of a font. The columns in the long primer are wider than this Turquoise. The Turquoise has shorter columns, so there's less words per line. So you can see here there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to get between probably 4 to 7 words a line in the Turquoise, whereas with the long primer, you probably going to average a lot more. So like that's a verse number. So let's go down here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're probably going to have between 7 and 9 words a line in the long primer. So you do have a slightly wider column. You do have center column reference that are tagged with keys. You also have textual footnotes and more critical footnotes in the long primer on like this should read this way, this should not read this way, this manuscript says this, and so forth. So the long primer's footnotes a lot of times will reflect 20th century scholarship on manuscripts. So, you know, obviously I disagree with a lot of that, but it's in the footnote. It doesn't affect the text. This is still a beautiful Bible. So, but there's a comparison of the fonts for you guys. So I know this is a big one. Oh, should I get a long primer or should I get a Turquoise? So again, if you like the bells and whistles of the long primer, you're like, man, I want a goat skin or a nice calf skin. I want the red page edges or whatever. But you like the Turquoise font, you can always look at Cambridge. They have some really beautiful editions of the Turquoise. but there's a comparison of the font for you. Now, the nice thing about the Turquoise is the long primer does not come in a red letter edition. So I know a lot of you guys are red letter fans, or that's a big deal to you. Not only does Cambridge come in red letter, but the Church Bible Publishers also comes in a red letter. Church Bible Publishers, of course, does one of the best red letters of any publisher out there. It's always going to be a very dark, beautiful red. Now, I did notice that some parts of the Turquoise and some parts of the long primer, again, these were metal typeset presses, press fonts. So in some of the sections of scriptures, you may get letters that are going to break apart, that are going to be incomplete, that may smudge or smear. That is not due to how Church Bible Publishers is printing them or how R.L. Allan or Cambridge is printing them. That is a reflection of the printing, the metal letters that they got when they digitized them, transferring over. So it's not a defect in how the Bible is actually printed. It's really a defect in the plates they're using. But that just adds, I think, character. If you want, just get a micron pen and kind of complete the letters. You know, you can put them back together. But this is just, the Turquoise is a beautiful, beautiful Bible. So you can see that. Titus chapter 1 is the 1130th chapter of the scriptures. You get a nice center column reference. Now, I'll say compared to the long primer, the center column references in the Turquoise are a little bit thinner when compared to the long primer. So especially like when you get into the epistles and things like that, you're going to have a lot more references and the long primer. And when the long primer doesn't have enough space, they bleed out onto the bottom of the page. So that can be a little bit hard to track down some of those references when they have a full column. But there are definitely more references in the long primer. Or the long primer, however you pronounce the I in there. Let's see here. So you can see there it's laying flat in the New Testament. Then in the back, this is the Church Bible Publishers edition, so it's going to be slightly different than the Cambridge. But you are going to get a concordance here. And this is a thick concordance. It's let's see, 89, 107. I think it's 130 something. Or 126 pages long concordance. And it has, what it does is it bolds the word. If you're looking for that word, you would look up these bold words here, and then it's paragraph style, and it will reference it with a whatever letter that begins with a period after it. So for example, year here, you have Genesis 1:14, let them be for days and years, but it's abbreviated with just a Y. So it's like that for every letter or word you look up. So like uncleanness here is going to be abbreviated with a U and a period. And then in the back of this, you do have a couple pages for notes. My camera is freaking out here. So you have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So you have 22 pages, front and back. It'd be about 11 whole pages of note paper. And it's the same paper as the Bible paper. So I would encourage you probably write on this only with pencil or a micron pen. So that way you don't damage the paper or have crazy bleed through. Then you get the map index here from Cambridge as well. And then these use, I think these are the Moody maps, if I'm not mistaken. Or they're the older Cambridge maps, second generation. But you can see Church Bible Publishers publish these with good color. These are on non-glossy paper as well, so they're just plain cardstock pages. You get quite a bit of maps, 15 of them. A couple more cardstock, and then you get your pages glued back together there in the back as well. So that is the review, guys, of the Church Bible Publishers Turquoise in black iron calfskin. So again, it's got a beautiful 11 to 12 point font. Got great margin space all the way around it. It does come in red letter. It does have self-pronunciation marks. So actually, let's go check that out before we close the video down here. Now, I think the long primer and the turquoise both have self-pronunciation, so that's a deal breaker for you. There are other large print Bibles that don't have them, but both of these do. So there's that for you. And you can see it's on technically the more complicated names. Like the more familiar, David's not going to be like that. Solomon's not going to be like that. But you do have like a simple word here like Obed is. So it will get a lot of them. But the more familiar names, you're not going to have that on there. So there you have it, guys. Now, we'll say the Two Church Bible Publishers does have this in a bunch of different covers. So if you want a full Yap edition, they have full Yap in like a different calfskins. I think they have a goatskin edition of this, couple goatskin editions of this as well. They have a hand-sized turquoise as well, if you are interested in that. It also comes in a nice full Yap calfskin leather that they get done by AA Leather. I'll just leave you guys the comparison here between that and the long primer. And again, the long primer is a 10-point font. And the long primer is going to have the Oxford stuff in the back. So it'll have the subject index right here. So this is like topics you can study in scripture. Then it's going to have a full concordance. And then you get the Oxford Bible maps and you get the lined Allan notebook paper in the back as well. So that is the long primer. And that is my review, guys, of the Church Bible Publishers Turquoise Edition. If you have any comments, questions, or any comparisons that you want me to do, please leave a note there in the comment section. I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. Thank you, guys. Take care, and God bless.